Am I the a-hole for not waiting and reporting my brother and his fiancée for taking my ring? I, male 26, been planning on proposing to my girlfriend of 3 years who just graduated college. She studied overseas and is returning home soon. We both came from the same town, so our families know each other too well. I work in construction. It's a very demanding job, but I was able to save up for new furniture. I still pay rent. And I was so happy to afford the ring I was planning to propose to my girlfriend with. I paid $3,000, and my girlfriend didn't pressure me to pay that much, but I really think she deserves nothing less. My brother saw the ring and liked it. Even said that he'd proposed to his girlfriend with a similar ring, but complained he didn't have $3,000. I told him about less expensive rings that were just as nice, but he constantly kept holding it and looking at it. A week ago, I got home from work and discovered the ring was not in my room. My brother said he borrowed it to show it to his girlfriend, but forgot to bring it back. Turned out he proposed with it. I went off on him and told him to go get it back. He wanted me to chill, but I called his girlfriend's number and all calls were directed back to him. I called my parents, but they wanted to stay out of it. I told my brother to give it back the same day, and he begged me to give him 2 days so he could get a similar, but cheaper one, sort of like copy it, so his now fiancé won't notice. For days, he kept stalling, saying tomorrow, no the day after, no the day after. I finally took a stand and told him I'd call the police, and I did. He wasn't with his fiancée when the police showed up, and his fiancée called him from the station when he was at my parents' house. He and my parents started cussing me out when I came, and my parents freaked out when I told my brother he needed to go to the station, or the police would come get him. He cussed me out for getting his fiancée involved and said that I'm not a man to do this to a woman. But I told him the ring was in her possession and that it's his fault his fiancée was involved. I got kicked out of my parents' house after a huge argument, and I got nasty texts from my mom when the police kept my brother at the station for 2 nights. She guilted me about what happened to my brother and said I went too far. My dad helped get him out, and I got the ring back. Now, more of my family heard of what happened, and only few took my side, while others repeated my parents' statements saying I should have never done that, because he had other ways, but I went too far. What's worse is that my girlfriend criticized me as well, and said that I caused a lasting issue in our relationship with my brother and his fiancée, and I haven't seen my mom after this. Usually she's supportive of me, so this got me worried. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Yo. What did I just read? Your brother stole and proposed with an engagement ring you bought, and your family's mad at you? Nah, bro. Ain't nobody need family like that. Not an a-hole. Edited to add. I just want to share like so many others. My mother did this exact same thing. I once texted her because I needed her to talk to my sister about something incredibly important, and she just didn't answer. My mother said, "Stop texting me about your sisters. I'm not getting in the middle of it." I kid you not. Less than 5 minutes later, I get a text from my sister saying it's not her problem and parroting what I told my mom. I called mother out on it, and this psycho said I didn't get in the middle of it. It's not my fault she was sitting here while I read a text out loud. I haven't gone home in 7 years, and man, I'm so much happier. For real, my heart breaks for Opie. Family can be challenging, but this is next level gaslighting and messed up. Good luck, Opie. Honestly, I feel so sorry for the brother's girlfriend too. Her fiancé proposed to her with a ring stolen from his brother and refused to give it back even after he was threatened with the police, resulting in her being picked up and held at the station. I can't even imagine how humiliating that must have been. The only silver lining is that she found out he's a gigantic a-hole before the wedding. Not an a-hole. Your brother stole an item worth over $3,000. While I would never put my sister in jail personally, my sister would also never put me in a position where I'd have to consider it. Screw your family. Maybe even the girlfriend too. That family's bad crap if they think everything is Opie's fault. That's the part I'm stuck on. He tried to talk to fiancé. She wouldn't respond and brother wouldn't do anything. What was his option that this girlfriend suggests? Legit, he was in a no-win situation, and that is over felony theft, greater than $500 US. Legit, Opie. If your girlfriend is against you, and there's no easy way to say this, you may have picked out a significant other unconsciously, because she exhibits the same toxic traits as your family that you are used to. Not today, Hal. Everyone is missing or skipping that you were the victim of a felony theft. Let things settle with your family. As for your girlfriend, she might prefer another ring, and your jeweler might exchange it for a fee. Your relationship with your brother is damaged because he committed a serious crime against you. If he doesn't face consequences for it, this is likely to happen again. You cannot be close with a thief. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for not inviting my dad's wife bridal shopping because of conflict with her and my mom? I have an idea where this might go, but I wanted to ask. My parents divorced when I, 26 female, was 8. I'm the youngest of 3, 2 older brothers, and pretty much from day one, we knew our dad left our mom for another woman, and that the other woman was the person we were staying with when we saw our dad. There was always tension between our mom and them, and we always chose our mom. Our relationship with our dad was impacted by his decision to leave our mom for another woman, and for throwing us into a situation like that immediately. Knowing our family was broken sucked, and then we were supposed to give this new chick a chance knowing what we knew? In the fight, we have always sided with mom. Not that we were asked to, but we would prefer to just keep things separate where possible, or not include at all. I'm getting married. Booked an appointment at a bridal boutique and invited my mom, brother's girlfriends, and my future mother-in-law and sister-in-laws. Dad and his wife found out about it and are pissed I didn't invite her. She said she expected to be included after 18 years as my stepmom and my dad's significant other. Dad said he wanted us to let go of the past and treat them as family of equal worth to mom. I said I didn't want her there, and it should be my choice as the person getting married. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Just tell her sweetly that you think it's a bad omen to have someone there who has such little respect for marriage vows that should sleep with a married man, and that she's lucky that she and your adulterer father are allowed at the wedding at all. But I'm mean. Boom! This is the way. Not the a-hole. 100% agree. OP is going to need to carry some ice upon delivery of this burn. Not the a-hole. If you don't have much of a relationship with her, why does she need to be there? Simply serving time as a stepmother doesn't actually make her a stepmother, or someone you want or need there on a special day. Use COVID. Oh, sorry, we can only have 4 guests at the bridal salon. Exactly. It sounds like OP and stepmom have no relationship, except the fact she's OP's father's wife. OP shouldn't be forced to pretend it's something that doesn't exist. OP is not the a-hole. Agreed. Also, if your mom knows your dad left her for that woman, and that is awkward, I think giving your mom that respect of not including your stepmom is fine. Maybe to appease your dad, once you pick your dress, go to the salon with your stepmom, try on the dress for her, and have lunch or something after. But if the relationship isn't there, it's not something either of them should be sweating. They have to have some empathy towards the original situation of how they got together and how that could be awkward for you and your mom. Yeah, the stepmom has been in your life for 18 years, but your mom has been there since the beginning, and you have the relationship with her, not the stepmom. Not the a-hole. I personally wouldn't want a homewrecker at my wedding, let alone weighing in on what dress I'm going to wear. Dad, she's not invited to this bridal shopping thing, and that's final. I'm already inviting her to the wedding itself, despite the fact that I feel uncomfortable about it because mom will be there. If she can't appreciate that, then I'm afraid she'll just have to live with it. And if you or her push it any further, you'll find yourselves, uninvited to my wedding. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for inviting my bridesmaid for my wedding after her husband was disrespectful? I, 24 female, went out for drinks with 2 other couples, 24 to 26. One married, the other in a relationship. Unfortunately, my fiancé couldn't make it due to work commitments. My best friend and bridesmaid Eve's husband, Matt, made everyone uncomfortable all night, suggesting me and his wife's other friend, Larry, be intimate together with him in front of his wife, and describing to me in detail what he wanted to do in bed to Larry's girlfriend's sister, Kate. Later in the night, he told me I was settling for my fiancé, was clearly unhappy, and shouldn't just marry him because I had his child. He said a similar thing to Larry's girlfriend, and they actually ended up splitting up after this. I left shortly after, and after speaking to my fiancé, who considered Matt a friend, he doesn't want him at our wedding. Understandable, considering he proposed to be intimate with the bride, and also told her not to settle for the groom. So I had an awkward phone call with Eve ahead of me. I then heard from Larry that he took it a step further that night. He cornered Kate outside the bathroom at the bar and told her to her face the explicit things he wanted to do to her, including getting his friends involved. Once I heard this, I knew I had to tell her, which I did. It was awful, and we both cried, but she said she was grateful to me for telling her. 10 minutes later, me and Larry get an apology call from Matt, which was him claiming he was blackout drunk. Couldn't remember anything from getting a taxi, despite him cornering Kate being before this, and is sorry if he said/did those things, taking no actual responsibility. Next day, Eve says it's all fine, and is sorry and said he won't do it again, so she forgives him. Fine, her marriage, her choice, even if this is the third time he's done something like this. I thought it was sorted, but a week later, she messages me to ask if Matt is 100% not invited to the wedding. I reply 100%. All of a sudden, I get a barrage of, "I can't believe you do this. He's my husband. You're my best friend. You can't make me choose. I would always choose my husband." There's going to be so much tension from now on. If you claim you've never said anything you regret whilst drunk, you're lying. It gets to a point where I've told her not to come either, losing a bridesmaid and a friend in the process. I didn't want her to choose, I just didn't want him at my wedding. Am I the a-hole? Edit. When I first told her what he'd done/said, she told me she understood us not wanting him there and that she would still be attending. She then went back on this nearly a week after. Now for the top comments. Just repeat, sorry, see it this way. Due to Matt's repeated inappropriate behavior, neither I nor my fiancé are comfortable with his presence at our wedding. It has nothing to do with you, and I'm sorry you're caught in the middle. It didn't have to mean you had to cut her as a bridesmaid, but if she continued stirring up drama, then you know best. Not a hole. Unfortunately, I said this multiple times. She kept saying he'd done nothing wrong and apologized, and refused to accept that he couldn't come. She turned me into the bad guy, and that's when I had enough. Yep, justified and necessary. It's on her. Not a hole. A wedding is supposed to be a time of joy and good vibes, and this guy Matt is probably going to get blackout drunk and try this on others. It's unfortunate that you are losing your best friend in the fallout, but that's on her. Thank you. Part of me worries that I was too excessive in uninviting her too, but I was just worried she'd sulk or cause a scene at either the hen do or wedding. If she brought it up and tried to fight it just a week later, I doubt she wouldn't bring it up again. Not a hole. Honestly, he sounds like a predator. I can't wrap my mind around how she's okay with all of that. It's really sad. You don't think he's abusive towards her, do you? I'm not saying he is, but just the way she sees nothing wrong with everything he said just bothers me. I'm sorry you're going through this, though. Losing a friend, especially over something like this, sucks. I hope everything works out for you. I definitely don't think there's mistreatment. I think he's just played the victim each time, and she cares a lot about what others think of her. She has said previously when I've confronted her about his behavior that she doesn't want to be that divorcee at 24. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not supporting my brother's engagement? Hello all, this is my first post here, and I need an outside opinion. My brother 26 has never had great luck in the dating scene. He tends to only date women who treat him like garbage. In 2020, he met a girl online and she was definitely not his type, and he even said himself he wasn't attracted to her. They dated for about 3 months and he decides to ask her to marry him. She accepted, and they got engaged. About 1 month in, they have a big fight and break up. I was very supportive of him, even though it was clear it wouldn't last. Come to find out, she had a substance dependency and was only using him for his money. He looked over all her flaws and knew that she was taking his money, but he insisted she was the one. Fast forward to 2021, back in April, he meets a new girl, 21. She's admittedly a much better partner than his last, but still a very new relationship. She still lives at home and has been severely sheltered her entire life by super fundamentalist Christian parents. We are Christian as well, but like the cool Christians, lol. So yesterday, He announced that they got engaged. Needless to say, I was shocked. I have only met her once, and I have never heard her speak. He doesn't act like his true self around her. Tries to put on a glossy sheen, and of course she thinks he is perfect. When I found out, I approached him and said, "Why don't you wait longer? You don't really even know each other yet." He has never been in a long-term relationship, and neither has she. I got married on my 1-year anniversary, and if I'm being honest, I think we should have waited longer. We are 5 years in, and we feel we are just hitting our stride. I told him about my experience and what my wife and I went through. That was met with a massive, "Why can't you just be supportive and happy for me?" That's what a good brother would do. I then brought up my concerns to my parents, and their response was, "In this family, we support each other's decisions no matter what." I then said, "I have to blindly support every single decision every family member makes, even if that decision could possibly hurt them in the long run?" I feel it is more loving, and it would be better to say, "Hey, I know you really want this. I want that for you too. But I really don't think this is a good idea, and I love you enough to tell you this." Am I the a-hole for not blindly supporting his decisions? Not the a-hole, but you will be if you keep pressing. You have given him good advice, and he is a grown man who can take it in or reject it. You have only met her once, and if you never even heard her speak, then your brother likely thinks your opinion of her doesn't hold much weight. Maybe you should try to get to know her better before discussing this further with him. Not the a-hole. Tough love over blind support, always. I lost a relationship with my sister for basically this exact thing. Long story. Turns out she's a narcissist, so she treats me disgustingly for years as punishment for sharing my concern with her that one time. Even if their relationship progressed swimmingly, it didn't. I wouldn't change my stance in a do-over. It's the principle. Not the a-hole, but please encourage them to do premarital counseling with a licensed professional. Not someone from the soon-to-be wife's church. Some of the crap that religious leaders say in premarital counseling is appalling. Not the a-hole. Too many people feel that family means you blindly have to support every stupid thing they do. I think you've said your piece. You're not going to change anyone's minds. But it's not your fault if your brother's relationship crashes and burns. He is making his bed and he'll have to lay in it.